It is the Gashouse Gang, and it is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Good to have you with us this afternoon. With you until 1 o'clock, Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, and on Tuesdays, we are always joined by Cardinals manager Oli Marmol, who is with us now, also joined by Dusty Blake, the pitching coach of the Cardinals. So, Oli, we'll start with you. 9 in a row. This is about as good as it gets, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's been a nice little run. The boys are playing well. The style of play has been very consistent. And I like what we're seeing, man. We're seeing guys continuing to grow. We're seeing these young guys come together, but they're competing really well. So obviously fun to win 9 in a row, but the way they're doing it is what's encouraging.
Oli, I wanted to ask you this. We were talking a little bit off the air earlier, and I said that what's so impressive about your team is just their resilience, the way they stick with it. I mean, before the season, let's face it, you were largely counted out by everybody. You get into the season, you have a success, and you get knocked on your tush. You know, you're 5 games under 500. You crawl back up, you get knocked down to 5 games under 500 again. Then it happened a third time. And no matter what happens to this team, it doesn't seem like they lose any type of competitiveness. They don't get demoralized. They don't back off. They just kind of get up off the deck and start swinging again. What is it about them that makes them this way?
I'd say a couple of things come to mind. This group is really focused on their every day. And they really don't pay a whole lot of attention or don't care what happened yesterday. Like, I can guarantee you in the hitters meeting today, one of the things Brownie's going to bring up is, like, yesterday's over. How we have to win today is very different than how we won yesterday. The weapons we have to use today to beat this guy are different than yesterday. So it's hard to ask a group to feed off of a win yesterday, but then when we lose, forget about it. I'd rather them have the mentality of each day is its own day. And we got to figure out how to do our jobs that day. So I think this group has done a really nice job of that. The staff's done a nice job, and the players are starting to come together and are enjoying competing together. So the focus isn't so much on a streak or yesterday. It's just on what's at hand today. So it's played really well.
And I'm glad you brought Dusty Blake along today, because really your coaching staff has done a terrific job of, helping players out, maybe keeping them on point the way the manager does. And, we see so many examples of that, guys who have learned and guys who have applied some of the things they're taught, and they're paying attention to it. And I'm not implying that they weren't before, but you could just see the focus is really sharp. And, there's still work to be done. You'd be the first to say that. But Dusty, welcome to the Gashouse Gang. I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, there's a situation where, let's face it, the bullpen, the first, month or so was just getting beat up. I mean, really getting shredded. And you look around and it's kind of like, oh, whoa, what do we do? But yet you and Oli and the other coaches have turned this thing around dramatically since around April the 25th. What went into that? How did you keep so calm under so much duress?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for letting me jump on with you guys. I think it's just super individualized. I don't think it's one answer to that. I think each guy has something specifically they could learn from the opportunities that they had. They could go out and demonstrate something better, or have a better game plan, or attack a different part of the zone. I think all those come into play, and piece by piece give us that better opportunity.
Dusty, great to have you on the show. I want to get right to it because I'm just fascinated with this pitcher. He was drafted in 2018 in the 17th round. He missed a year in 2020, as everybody did, with COVID. 2021 in Springfield, he was 0-8 with an 8.20 ERA. He was actually removed from the 40-man at the end of the 23 season and then came back in 24. I'm talking about Kyle Leahy. I mean, this has just been tremendous. So what has he unlocked in himself to be this effective?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is his personality, his mental approach to this thing. Everybody we have has good stuff coming out of their hand. A lot of times that's not the separator. And although he has continuously found ways to improve that, I think the biggest thing is this guy's not scared to fail. most of the time that doesn't sound like a compliment, but in the grand scheme of things, like these guys' hopes and dreams, like this is what they want to do, especially young guys. And so a lot of times they're fighting against the idea of failure. For Kyle, like he embraces it as an opportunity to learn something. He feels like I'm either going to do well today or I'm going to go out there and figure something out that gives me a better chance next time.
We were talking a lot about Matthew Liberatore and have been this season because he's been so good. And I don't think it's surprise. It is a surprise that he is doing well. That nobody is surprised by that. But maybe it's the degree to which he has really been effective this year. How has he gotten there?
Yeah, again, smart kid, gets better as he goes. Really invests time and commitment into his preparation, understanding himself. I think a big part of it, I know it's been talked about, like giving him a real shot at this, not feeling like I have to have a great game today to be a starter for the Cardinals. I'm going to get some opportunities here. But I just really appreciate, his investment and time, not in just to himself, but understanding the game. It helps the game slow down for him a little bit. He keeps getting better as he goes. I know Oli mentioned that. That is a big priority for us to make sure we're having some form of daily progress. But yeah, he's embraced that. The way he's using his pitches continues to, I think, become a little more efficient. And really the shapes of them have become more consistent as well, which I think is obviously a big part of pitcher success. When you can go out and strategize behind something that's more consistent, it gets a little easier to go out there and execute your game plan.
That's pitching coach Dusty Blake, along with manager Oli Marmol here on the Gashouse Gang. Oli, since Dusty's here, this is a good time for me to ask you this. From a distance, it seems like your staff, and I don't want to leave anybody out, but let's just say all of your staff, but Dusty's the lead pitching coach, Brant Brown's the lead hitting coach, Daniel Descalso's the bench coach, John Jay's been doing all kinds of things. Take us through the process of how you guys get together and talk about the team and what maybe needs to be addressed, what lineup combinations might work. What do you do with the bullpen? Because I'll let our listeners in on something. You and I were texting about something a while back, and it was after a Monday night game that you lost, and you told me, and I know you don't mind me sharing this. You told me that you had the whole staff, or just about the whole staff, in your hotel room, and you just pretty much watched ball, but you talked Cardinals baseball like for a couple of hours, where you just broke everything down. Take us through the process of how that works, because it seems like your staff and you and the players are really aligned, which is not always easy to do.
No, you're spot on. And we do that from time to time. Actually, we did it last night. And it's at times you do it in the clubhouse in a more formal setting where you're going through players, and at times it's just over a drink and you're talking ball and just discussing kind of what we're seeing, what we can improve upon, specific players, and get everybody's opinion. And it's always good. Everyone has their lane, right? Like Dusty's in charge of the pitch and Brownie's in charge of the hitting, but it's always good to get other people's opinion. A pitching coach could speak to what he's seeing in Jordan Walker, what he's seeing in Gorman, what he's seeing, and just being able to actually go ahead. You have some?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. And being able to just speak into it and have a conversation. And at the end of the day, it's not about who's right or wrong. It's just getting the player better. But our staff has done a really good job of that and being open in communicating and getting to the bottom of it, man. But I am proud of each one of our guys. They've done a really nice job to committing to the process. Things aren't going well, just understanding what we're trying to build here and where we're headed.
I had a follow-up on that if I could. I'm sorry. Dusty, I'm going to put you on the spot, man. Is Oli the kind of manager to where you feel completely free, you and the other coaches feel completely free to basically disagree with him on something that he's thinking? Like, in other words, does he welcome, for lack of a better word, does he welcome dissent,
We disagree with him. He's like, get out. I hate all of you. No, he's that's the biggest point. I think it's, we're going to be around each other for 9 months plus, including spring training. So you have to be able to be honest with each other. It can't be about trying to be right, which is what he's great at. It's about getting to the truth, getting to the foundation of whatever the topic is. I think we all recognize we got our vantage point. But we all have blind spots because we can't see this thing full 360. And so that approach, I think, really helps us just get to the best maybe answer to a question, but not necessarily try to figure out, well, how can I be right today?
And for each of you, Dusty and Oli, talking to Libby last week made me think of this, because he talked about the catchers and how they will talk to him in between his innings and discuss what's going on out there. In particular, Pozo was part of this conversation. But also, Libby mentioned to me that now being in the rotation, he gets to spend even more time with Sonny, and how Sonny helped him right away and said, you need to be throwing a cutter. And do you like that too? That interaction, that play between those teammates really has been effective, it seems.
Yeah, I think as long as it's invested, and that's what Sonny is, that's what our rotation is. When guys come out and throw their side between starts, like the whole rotation's out there. I think if you're shooting some one-off advice and you're not watching Libby throw his sides, you're not paying attention to his games, and you just that's one thing. I think what's great about what Sonny does, and really with any of these guys, is they're invested in each other. And so it's coming from a place of not just knee-jerk, this is what I do. It's coming from a place of, I've watched you. I see how the ball's coming out of your hand. I see how hitters react to you. It feels like this may be something that's worth considering or worth looking at. And for the most part, when you talk through that, even if it doesn't always transpire in that direction, like you've at least checked that box, and you have less, maybe gray area or doubt in something that you may want to do more moving forward.
That is pitching coach of the Cardinals, Dusty Blake, with Oliver Marmol, the manager. Bernie, Tom, Chris, we are all with you on the Gashouse Gang, and the conversation with the Cardinals manager. Oli Marmol is sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. We got a lot of time left with both Blake and Marmol. We will do that when we come back on the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, St. Louis homeowners, are you thinking about upsizing, downsizing, or relocating this year? This is Debbie Monterey, and when life happens and you need to sell your home, I recommend you speak with trusted realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria understands every seller situation is unique, which is why she's created custom programs to fit every home seller's needs. Many people move out of necessity, like for a new job or financial challenges. And that's why Gloria's created her guaranteed multiple cash offer program, giving you up to 6 of the best offers with at least one at 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. Plus, you sell faster. Gloria did this for the Miller family in Clayton and got them more money than they were expecting and within their time frame. Gloria did it for them. She can do it for you. Get your offers today by calling Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888 or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
You asked, we delivered. KMOX, now on FM. Crystal clear sound at 104.1 FM.
0-1 the count, and that ball is hit in the air to left field. Well hit by Mason Wynn. Back to the wall, and it's gone! A big fly by the Cardinals shortstop, Mason Wynn. As the Cardinals strike in the 7th.
Cardinals have won 9 straight games, and the Gashouse Gang is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com every day from 12 until 1 on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Before the break, this is for Oli and Dusty. We had a really good question from one of our viewers, listeners about. I think it was targeted more to Dusty, but it applies to the whole team, really. There it is. Dusty, the pitching staff has been great so far this year. How much do you guys use analytics and advanced metrics in your game plan? Have you increased that from previous years? That's a great question. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's really good. We do use some more advanced numbers. I guess it depends what somebody's definition of advanced may be. One thing we look at a lot are run values. And I think the simplest way to understand a run value is if I throw 2 fastballs to get 2 strikes on a hitter and then strike them out on the slider, in most every analytic number, the slider is the one getting the credit because it ended the at-bat. But the first 2 fastballs are what made that possible in a lot of scenarios. And so run values just give every pitch throughout the at-bat some value, not just the one that ends the at-bat. And even though the one that ends the at-bat certainly has the most value in that scenario because you got the out, if we're able to use pitches to get to that point, we just get a lot better idea of like how valuable, how effective this pitch is, not just when it ends the at-bat, because there's a ton of volume there for pitch effectiveness and what we can look at. And then simple things like xWOBA, where you can consider the speed of the batter and exit velos and launch angles, all that type of stuff, versus maybe looking at like average against, where sometimes there's some unpredictability, and the softest ball in play still leads to a base runner about 1 out of every 3.5 at bats. And so if you look at xWOBA, you may get a little bit closer idea of how effective this pitch really is to this hitter. And then we try to break it down pre-2K hitters counts and in 2-strike counts to make sure as hitters potentially change their approach, we can keep an eye on what pitches they may hunt a little bit more, what pitches they take more in the zone, what pitches they chase more, that sort of thing.
Let me throw this one out there. This is from Bill about taking Michaelis out early. And was it a gut feeling? Was it based on numbers? And I guess just in general, the idea of taking a pitcher out like Michaelis in that situation.
Yeah, it depends what you have in the pen, right? If you're fresh and you have an option, depending on the lineup, we have mats available. We know what Michaelis is looking like. He's done really well. He's at, to your point, 69, 70 pitches or so. So we allow him to go back up there for the top, face Abrams. You got Call in the 2-hole, and then you got some lefties behind it in Wood and Lowe. So we decided to go hitter to hitter. If he gets the first 2 guys, then we give him Wood. But if a guy gets on, I think we feel pretty good about what Matz has been able to do out of the pen, specifically in lefty lanes. So we have an option that we feel could keep the score exactly where it's at, and we're going to deploy it when it's fresh. So, and it's nothing against the starting pitcher at all. It just has to do with everyone has their part to this puzzle, and I mean, it's a good one to use. So I'm glad it worked. Miles did his job, and so did Matt's.
Miles is really interesting because he had that awful start in Boston, but since then he's rebounded very, very well. I think his ERA is about 2.60. He's not walking anybody, not that he does anyway, but he's limiting power. They got a low slug against him. And part of that is, if I could just interject, you guys also clearly know that there's better ways to use him. Like example, 3rd time through in the lineup. And in that case, you had multiple left-handed hitters coming up, and his numbers against left-handed hitters just simply aren't that good. So you're taking a pragmatic approach with that. It's a long question, I apologize, but how do you communicate that to players where, you kind of know what's best for him in terms of matchup or when he's used, but how do you convince them that, yeah, this makes sense. I can see why you're doing that.
Yeah, I think honesty plays, and having a relationship and being able to speak as honest as possible. Dusty does a really good job of on a pitcher or expect a pitcher to completely agree with it. Like that is what makes them good. They're competitive and they feel like they can get anybody out. So I want them to keep that mentality, but also respect the fact that we have some other guys that are good at their jobs as well. And we'd be able to put the pieces together for the betterment of the team. So specific to Miles, man, yeah, there has been conversations where he comes in and we talk through that and he understands it. And there's times where we'll allow him to go back out there and and he's deserving of it. But there's other times where our pen is fresh and we can unload and finish a game, and he's very understanding of that as well. So he's actually handled it really well.
Just from a general innings standpoint, earlier in the season, it was a little difficult with some of the starters not going deeper into games. Bullpen has to come in and cover more innings than it wants to. Right now, is that workload about where you want it to be? And if not, where do you want it to be?
About where we want it to be. I mean, our starters have actually taken us pretty deep into games. Their innings pitched are at the top of the league. Our pen has done a really, really nice job. There was a time there where Phil and Leahy were taking the ball often. And then we had about a week where they didn't touch it, right? So it evens out. There's going to be months where it's a heavy workload and months where it kind of evens out. But I feel pretty good about where the innings are for our rotation and our pen. And Matt's has been a big piece to that, man. His ability to allow us to go into that 6-man rotation and give those guys an extra day all the way through April really helped keep guys healthy and feeling strong and confident in what they're doing. So mixing and matching up to this point has worked out well.
And Dusty, knowing roles in the bullpen, we've been talking about that for years, when pitchers know their role. What is to be said about that when it comes to bullpen work?
Yeah, I think, when you're coming in out of the bullpen, any moment, any night, like, you can think to yourself, if I don't throw great tonight, we're going to lose. I mean, that's just a real fact that those guys feel every night that they go out. Giving them some predictability inside of that leverage in the game, inside of that situation where they know, like, the game's going to be on the line. I may even have runners on base that aren't mine that I've got to be able to help keep on the bases. So any type of structure you give them helps. It's not always going to be perfect. You don't always know exactly how much time you're going to have to get them ready, depending on what the game situation is and things like that. And they prepare to be able to get ready really quickly. So that's one part of their structure that they can commit to and know that it's going to be there for them in those moments. But yeah, having some type of structure, if it's possible, certainly gives them a better idea of what to anticipate. All right, if it happens here, this is where it's going to happen. This is where I need to be ready. Here's who they'll pinch hit for. Here's who will stay in the lineup. And I think any of that gives like some stability to an incredibly tough job where there is a lot of unpredictability.
So to that point, the idea that the closer is the closer and he is going to get the ball to finish up games, there's this newer way of thinking that I know you guys are both aware of it, that your best reliever should come in the biggest moment of the game, which might happen in the 6th inning or the 7th inning and not necessarily the 9th inning. So how do you balance that against guys needing to know what their roles are? And if you are the closer, I need to know that I have the 9th inning. So is that a thing that you would explore more, or are you reluctant to do it?
I'll start and you can add. We did that with Helsley, right? We've gone down that road, and I think it's worked out really well for him to know I have the 9th inning and I'm gonna throw 1 inning, and that allowed him to do a very nice job last year. Good teams have multiple guys that they can use and leverage and feel really comfortable with it. And I feel like we're at a point where yesterday's game, like, we've been using Leahy in the 7th and the 8th inning. We went to him early knowing that this is where the game could get flipped, and he was able to hold a score through a really tough lefty matchups all the way down because they unloaded their bench. So yeah, you have a guy that you can use in the most high leverage situation of the game. It doesn't have to be your 8th inning guy every time. You can deploy him in the 6th if you think that's where the game's going to be. But when it comes to the closer and Helsley, like, he's got the 9th. He's got 3 outs to finish the game.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is if you talk to anybody that's been in that role, and I'm sure you guys have, they will tell you, like, the hardest thing to do is come in dirty inning, sit. You've got all the game on the line, the pressure, whatever energy is going through the stands. You come in, now I have to reset, go back out, clean inning, nobody on. It's a different scenario, different situation. And when you look at the elite closers in our game over the last, you can go 5 years, 10 years, whatever you want to look at, the guys that routinely are great at doing it are not doing multiple innings, or not coming in dirty to get off the field, then +1. And so creating some structure inside of the difficulty of that role with what's on the line I think is what's helped guys stay good in that role if they have. And when you've seen a lot of fluctuation in that role, I think a lot of it is in part due to the range that they've tried to demonstrate, and it just becomes really tough over time.
I know Tom asked you about Kyle Leahy. I wanted to just address something because we hear this from fans. First of all, his numbers this year are just insane. Just insane. I mean, what right-handed pitchers hold left-handed batters under a 100 batting average? I mean, it's just nuts in a good way. But real quick, I wanted to ask you this. If you look at him, and watching the game as a fan, I think, this is a guy I could see being a closer. But then again, I'll say, wait a minute, with all those variety of pitches and the way he can handle lefties, right-handed bats, he could be a starter. So, I mean, I'm talking about down the road, not this year, but is he capable in your guys' estimation of being a good starter or being a good closer?
Let me answer it.
Take it, Doug.
Yeah.
I don't want to put a limit on what he can do, candidly. I know that's probably a cop-out answer too, but he's just continued to grow every year. All I know is the more he gets opportunities, the more he learns from them, the more prepared he is in those scenarios the next time out. If it means adding a pitch, if it means changing the shape of a pitch, if it means attacking a location in the zone or in chase locations more. I mean, he's not a robot, but he's found ways to improve his range in all those areas with the opportunities he's gotten. And so it just feels like a good investment anytime he's out there, that he's going to have some compound interest on that experience to be more prepared the next time.
That is pitching coach Dusty Blake. Oli Marmol with us here on the Gashouse Gang. Usually we say goodbye now, but you guys want to stick around a few more minutes? Is that cool?
I'll give you a couple more minutes.
A couple more. It's great. We'll do that. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll have more with Oli and Dusty on the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
It's partly cloudy and 74 in St. Louis. The high will be 78. The weather brought to you by FanDuel Sports Network with more ways to watch your Cardinals this season. Cardinals fans, new this season, you can subscribe directly to FanDuel Sports Network and stream the Cardinals. Sign up at FanDuelSportsNetwork.com or stream FanDuel Sports Network through Prime Video with an add-on subscription. Visit Cardinals.com/TV to learn more.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
James talks about his experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
My wife and I had been talking for several years about getting our kitchen and bathroom remodeled. We'd had some bids actually been made. The thing that always put us off was that they were talking about 2 or 3 months to get all this work done. We heard about 3-Day Bath and Kitchen. We thought that we'd give it a try. They spent 3 days on one of our items and 4 days on another, and the cost was about the same thing as all the people gave us 3-month estimates for. They went out of their way to make sure that we were satisfied with everything when the job was finished. There's simply no question about the idea that they want satisfied customers and they want people who are pleased with their work.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
Tonight, the Cards, the Phillies. Ameren Total Access 450. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Tom Ackerman, Bernie Miklasz, Chris Ranji, and Dusty Blake, the pitching coach of the Cardinals, along with Oli Marmol. And the conversation with Oli is sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
Dusty, I love the story of Andre Palante coming to you all and saying, I think that my best path is as a starter. You know, when you were first named pitching coach and you came from Duke University, I was doing some research on you, and I heard you say one time how important it is to tell the truth, and that you were going to tell the truth to the pitchers. And I believe it's possible that an atmosphere was created that allowed Palante to tell the truth also. And how important is that for all of you to be honest with each other, especially when things are not going well?
Yeah, well, I think when you look at like learning velocity, which is what we all want, every pitch, every inning, every game is all valuable. The faster we can execute and demonstrate that, the better we're going to be in the future, the more prepared, the better game plan. And so a big part of that is you have to be able to be square in that conversation with players. And for some guys, there may be a real time limit, meaning like, okay, well, we're not going to make a big gain in this between post game tonight and when they show up tomorrow. So there is some savvy within that process. But yeah, I think it's real. It's hard to build a foundation on what you're doing, how you're creating your strategy, what your game plan is, what your process between innings is, between games is, between bullpens. All those things are important to be, in my opinion, built on the foundation of what's real, what's going on. It's not an opinion-based conversation. It's more like, this is the reality of what's happening, where we're at. What are we going to do about giving ourselves the best chance moving forward with that? And yeah, it's great when you get it both ways, because then you're saving yourself time and getting to the point that you're both going to be at your best.
And this is what I'll add to that, Tom, with that question is, and Dusty does this extremely well. Our Brownie does this well. Our whole staff does. I was doing some reading this morning at a coffee shop, and I wrote this down. It was John Quincy Adams on leadership, and he says, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you're a leader. And when I think of the environment that Dusty and our staff have created for our players, like, he does a really good job of painting a picture of what's possible. When you ask about Palante, Leahy, Libby, painted a picture like, here's what's possible for you. In that there's several things that go after the if you truly commit, if you kind of sacrifice some short-term success for long-term development, if you really like immerse yourself in what really needs to take place for you to get to where you want to get to. And then he does a really good job of going on that journey with the pitcher. And there's times where it sucks and it's not good, and there's ups and downs to it, but truly committing where the player feels like, man, you're coming alongside of me for this. That's something that I think has gone really, really well with a lot of our young pitchers and the way they're developing at the moment.
Oli, I know I have to ask you about, Jordan Walker and Nolan Gorman, because fans, I know all of us get asked about it a lot. And I don't even really want to talk about the length of the runway, but I wanted to like frame it another way. What is it that you're seeing, you and the staff are seeing in both of these guys, but you can talk about them individually, that gives you some hope or some belief that it's going to come, it's going to come, it's going to come? You've noticed some things that are encouraging. Tell us why you're still maintaining hope in both of them at this time.
I will say I am committed to both of them, for the reason that, like, they're having a tough time. There aren't a ton of things pointing in a direction, if I'm just being completely honest. And I've had this conversation with both of them where it says, like, hey, this is pointing in the right direction, just keep doing it. The game starts, and it's been hard for Jordan to carry the work that has happened in the cage into the game. But if you had the luxury of watching his work with Brownie underneath and BA and Packy, man, you would be encouraged that, man, this is going to carry over, because the work has been good. It transferring to the game under pressure in real time just hasn't happened yet. So we're committed to continuing to see that through. With Gorman, it's different, man. Like, I know there's some stuff written on, well, the bat speed's down. Well, if you're trying to make contact, it's going to come at the expense of something. Bat speed isn't the end all be all, right? There's guys with crazy amounts of bat speed that can't hit. So yes, he is sacrificing some of that for contact. And is it showing in the game just yet? No. But we have to stay committed. And I'll say it again, Brando, we talked about this, like, at the end of 2025, we have to know what we have with these guys. So we don't have to talk about what that runway looks like. We are head down just trying to get them to transfer it today. And then we wake up tomorrow and we're going to do it all over again. But I will say that both of them do feel supported in this process, and Brownie's continuing to do a really nice job with them. But we have to stay committed to it.
Well, Oli, we know that your team must have won 9 games in a row or something, because Jay is being nice today. And he checks in on YouTube and says, I'm happy about this good winning streak, but it's only May. So
I've been reading his comments.
Just a little happy.
No, but he did add here, yes, Oli and Dusty are finally doing their jobs after 2 years. So I'm going to take that as a compliment. I'm going to take that one as a compliment.
It's a pretty nice compliment, I think. Yeah.
That's pretty good coming from him. Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
Also, the weather looks rough in Philadelphia tonight, and Mitchell wants you to do something about that.
We'll actually have a call here shortly to get an update on that. But yeah, it's not looking good, but hopefully we can get this in.
Oliver Marmol, Dusty Blake, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. This was really cool. A lot of fun to talk to you. Oli, we will talk to you on Tuesday.
You got it, guys. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
That is Cardinals manager Oli Marmol and Dusty Blake, the pitching coach of the team. And yes, they are scheduled to have a game tonight in Philadelphia at 5:45, but the weather looks rotten. So hopefully they'll be able to get it in tonight, or tomorrow's game looks kind of rough too, possibly. Just stay tuned for that. And as we go to break, tell the folks about our friends at Saliga. Bernie, would you do that?
I will, and thank you. Saliga Heating and Cooling is a Dicon comfort dealer, and they've been taking care of St. Louisans. 4 generations of Saligas, taking care of generations of St. Louisans since 1927. This family-owned business, maintaining the highest of standards, has been operating since 1927, still offering free estimates, financing options, still has the best and most trustworthy customer service in St. Louis. The Miklas family knows that, because we've been a Saliga family now for 16, 17 years, and I can vouch for their honesty. I can vouch for their knowledge and their professionalism and their prompt service, and just the way they work with you. Like, I want to recommend again, because we just had a recent example of why this Priority Club maintenance program is a preventative maintenance program that'll save you money. This was now 2 weeks ago. It was the usual maintenance check, and that we have twice a year, and they spotted a little something. It wasn't a big deal, but they caught it, and they did a very quick repair, inexpensive, quick repair. No hassles, no worries. Now, if we didn't have that Priority Club maintenance coming to the house that day. Who knows? This thing may have blown up into a big problem, a costly problem. So that's why you should consider becoming a Priority Club member. Go to SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and you'll see all the information of this outstanding business, family owned here in St. Louis.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Michael's Baths. So as you know, it's such a great deal. If you've been looking at other companies like Bath Fitter or 3-Day Kitchen and Bath, Mike does it local. He does it family. He's been doing nothing but bathrooms for 30 years now. And while many companies are raising prices due to tariff uncertainty, Michael's Baths is doing the opposite. They're offering $500 off any shower or tub replacement and $1,000 off a full bathroom remodel, turning market challenges into savings for their customers. 636-775-0800, michaelsbaths.com.
When you golf in Missouri, the courses are so close, you'll spend more time on the fairway than the freeway. After the back nine, enjoy our world-class dining and distilleries, shops and spas, museums, and more. Find your new golf MO at visitmo.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler for Supplement Superstores. And look, I've been a customer of theirs since 2013, and there's a reason for that. Supplement Superstores is the best. They are always on the cutting edge of science, so when they find better products, that's what they work with. And they also have the best people. All of the employees at Supplement Superstores are certified sports nutrition specialists and personal trainers. So they'll work with you to build a simple eating plan and workout routine that fit your goals. And by the way, they do that for free. So to find your Supplement Superstores location and get started down your path to success, go to supplementsuperstores.com.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds River's Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1120 AM, 1041 FM, KMOX.
Yeah, the Gashouse Gang every weekday from Monday until Friday. We go on from 12 until 1. Today it is Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, and Chris Ranji. Just had a long time, about 45 minutes, with both Oliver Marmol and the pitching coach Dusty Blake of the Cardinals, who are on a 9-game winning streak, fellas. So this is it's fun because we just saw the Blues about a month ago have their huge winning streak. The Cardinals have theirs going on right now. It feels pretty good. I mean, everything the Cardinals are doing at the moment feels right. It seems right. And that's usually what happens during a winning streak. But the way they have been playing all year long has at least been fun to watch. And we have discussed that a lot. But the results have been coming lately, finally.
Yeah, and I actually, I know the 9-game winning streak deserves like 90% of the attention, but the Cardinal season turned on April the 25th. That was the first day where they had their new bullpen in place. And, you know, since that time, they've won 13 out of 17, which is tied for most wins in the majors, the best record in the majors, and the best record in the National League. So the seeds of this were planted then, and it's paying off. So the bullpen, which was a huge liability, is now a huge positive, which is why after going 0-5 in one-run games until they remade their bullpen, they're now 6-0 in one-run games. And the bullpen is a huge percentage of that turnaround. So, and the starting pitching has been good. The offense continues to be good. The defense has been good from day one. And Tom, the people are going to just want to know, like, can they keep this up? Can they keep this up? And of course, that not 9 in a row, but just playing really good ball. I think they can, but I learned last year that, when they went 33-18 during a hot stretch, then they didn't sustain it. I think this team's got maybe more going for it now, though.
They do, and I think that they have people's attention now that they've taken the first game against the Phillies. They will be challenged. We all know that. Big-time stuff coming up here. The Royals are really good. You're going to have to go to Kansas City. That place will be amped up. They love beating the Cardinals. Cardinals fans will be there. I'm curious if Cardinals fans will be there on Monday when they take on the Tigers. What I'm hearing is that ticket sales have not picked up for that just yet, but there could be a surge for Memorial Day weekend. Traditionally, Memorial Day weekend's a big weekend in St. Louis. People come in, they spend the weekend, and it's just sort of inevitable that you're going to have a big house for that series against the Diamondbacks. But I think you're right, Bernie. I think that they aren't expected to go on a 9-game winning streak all over again, but I think sustained. I think their floor is high. I think that they, because of the bullpen success, I just don't see them falling off. I think that they will be able to stay afloat. Now it'll be up to the rest of the team to come through. And just back to you on this, Bernie, because I've heard you say this already this week, and you said it with me on Sunday. This Cardinals offense maybe doesn't get talked about enough. I know we focus so much, and we should, on the bullpen. That's the reason the team fell off. But this offense is legitimately a top 10 offense in Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah, they're basically tied for 10th in the majors in runs, and they're in the top 10 in on-base percentage, batting average, runners with scoring position. Their slugging percentage is just outside the top 10. The OPS is 10th. I mean, on and on and on. They lead the majors in doubles, or they were tied anyway. And yet I still just see references to them, having an average offense or whatever. No. It's a top 10 offense. And they're doing it at a time where up to this point, Walker and Gorman have done very little. And also they didn't have Ivan Herrera for 30 games. So to be a top 10 offense with all of that going on, I think that bodes well for the rest of the season.
Well, it gives them the luxury of letting Walker figure it out. Because if he were struggling and the rest of them were struggling, they would have to do something probably. And in this case, they're not having to. And Samuel is checking in on YouTube and says, 2 managers down. When does the trading begin? And he's talking about Derek Shelton and Bud Black, who have both been fired already. As it pertains to the Cardinals, I think it's way too early to know what they're going to do at the trade deadline. But I would say adding is not out of the question at this point. Definitely not out of the question now. And everybody looks at Nolan Arenado and what might end up happening there if he's playing well. When do we start really thinking about that and what the Cardinals might do, if anything, at the deadline?
Interesting question. And Bernie, I'll throw it back to you, but I will just say that right now, your 2 big names are Helsley and Arenado. I don't think there's any doubt that every major league team would like a Helsley. Even if they had a closer, it'd be fun to have Helsley. But certainly, if they don't have an established closer, Helsley's going to be a hot commodity. It's something to weigh here because he's going to command a big contract unless he accepts a 1-year qualifying offer for some reason, and then you could keep him around. But Arenado wouldn't command the prospect haul that Helsley would. He would just be salary relief. But at this point, I mean, you got to think you're in this thing. It's way early. You haven't even played the Cubs yet. You won't until June 23rd. But if that series goes the Cardinals' way, and if the July 4th series goes the Cardinals' way, you're going to be in first place as long as you don't fall apart here. You're going to start thinking, as Chris said, Bernie, about maybe acquiring a piece. Nothing crazy, but acquiring a piece that could put you into a great position.
Yeah, maybe a platoon bat. Maybe, again, it depends on, like, is Walker still here, say, in late June? Is Gorman still here in late June? Because I think you get to late June, early July, you get to the 4th of July, and you still got 3 weeks to go to the trade deadline at that point. And, trades don't happen this early in the season. I mean, every now and then there's one, but it very rarely or any kind of big names going somewhere in May. It just baseball teams wait and wait and wait because they want to size up their team. There's a lot of teams on the bubble, so to speak. So they want to take their time. So trades at this time are not really a practical thing because the clock doesn't work like that in baseball. But I think, you get into July, you assess your team. I think it's important for John Mozeliak to make a realistic assessment of the team. I don't think they're going to do anything like make a big trade that brings back a big player with a lot of salary or something like that. But you nailed it, Tom. I mean, yeah, they could trade Matz and they could trade Fedde. I don't know what they would get for them. And we get into July, we'll know a lot more about Arenado and how he's perceived on the outside. But Helsley's the guy, if he stays healthy, that could command the most in return. But, how hard would it be for John Mozeliak to, keep him to take that shot of getting in the postseason, just to take the shot and bypassing what could be a really good trade offer? I think that's what it's going to come down to. And I joke about this, but it's true. He's going to get blasted either way, because if he trades Helsley, he'll get blasted. If he doesn't trade Helsley, he'll get blasted. So as usual with Mo, he's in a no-win situation, basically. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Totally.
Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, the Gas House Gang wraps up. As of right now, we don't have a Gas House Gang scheduled for tomorrow because they're supposed to be day baseball. But also it kind of looks like the weather in Philly is not cooperative. So stay tuned. Either we'll have Cardinals baseball tomorrow afternoon or we will have the Gas House Gang. But it won't be both. So anyway, Bernie Miklasz, we'll talk to you soon. Tom Ackerman over there. I am Chris Ranji. Thanks for listening in. The podcast is available on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find us on the Odyssey app as well. Just search for the Gas House Gang, and we will be there. We'll see if we have a show tomorrow. Take care.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or